To quote a great philosopher,
yes, no, maybe. I don't know. Can you repeat the question? You're not the boss of me now. You're not the boss of me now. You're not the boss of me now. And you're not so big. You're not the boss of me now. You're not the boss of me now. You're not the boss of me now. And you're not so big. Life is unfair.
but yes, welcome back to another episode of the M&K Productions Podcast. I'm your host, Mac. Joined here as usual by Kristen. Say hello, folks at home, Kristen.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, or whatever you identify as. How y'all doing?
I hope they're doing good because we're joined here by a returning guest who, fun fact, around the same time this year came on to talk about another comic book film being the Batman, which was a very fun episode. So we had to get him back because he is the king of the comic book knowledge. And he's going to drop some bombs on us today. That's going to be
And
Darren.
no, seriously, he actually writes for Guy at the Movies. So
Yes. And that's
you gotta
going to be
acknowledge that.
It's going to be Darren from Darren's Movie Reviews. Welcome back to the show.
Yay, Darren!
I'm so happy to be back. Oh, it's been so long, but it was
been
worth
so
the wait.
long.
It's been a great episode.
Yes, you came on for a good episode. At least Mac is a little disappointed in talking about today's movie, but you and I are.
Yeah.
That's what matters. You and
It's
I are
fun.
happy.
So much
Mac
fun.
is going to sit
I don't
here
know what
and
he's thinking. Yeah.
Yeah,
Mac's
no, the
gonna just
Batman
sit
was a
here
good
and
movie.
pout.
The Batman was a good movie. That was awesome. But Darren, for the folks who may have forgotten, you want to remind them who you are.
Yeah. So I'm Darren Movie Reviews on Instagram. I review movies, TV shows. I review for Movie Scene Canada. So if you're a Canadian listener, definitely check them out. We have lots of free tickets and stuff to give away all the time. And I'm on Twitter and everything else as well.
You have a new logo as well.
I do.
that.
Yes.
I love it.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, that was in the works for a while. And when I say in the works, I hired someone to draw it because if I drew it, it would be a stick figure like what I sent to the person. He went, I'll make it look a lot better.
Hey, stick figure would have been the simplest design. That would have drawn more people in.
Yeah.
But I mean, what you'll be questioning what you're looking at then. You're like a stick figure.
It's us, the viewer, watching Darren review the movie.
Yes.
It's like symbolism, you know?
Exactly.
Okay.
If they could tell it was a stick
I think
figure,
that
that's
Mac,
the
I think
problem.
you're making that one a stretch, but okay.
Shut up. But you'll find all of Darren's links in the description below. You know, it's welcome back, man. And one question I have to ask you before we start. So, like I said, last time you were on here, we talked about the Batman. So since we're in the beginning of the new year, where did the Batman place on either your top 10 best list or maybe put on your worst list? Because I saw somebody put the Batman in their worst movies of 2022, but I'm assuming it wasn't your worst movie.
No, it was high on the list. I saw just under 200 films. I think it was like 197 last year.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't in the top 10. It was probably close to like maybe was in the top 20. It was probably like in the 30s range.
Ooh.
It was
Oh,
high,
wow.
but yeah.
Wow, that I was not expecting that from you then, since you gave it such a high rating. But then again, you saw a lot of movies last year. I think
That was the problem. Yeah, it's like when you have that many, it's hard to keep them all in the top 10. And then the ones in the top 10 is like, well, there's nowhere else I could put, Top Gun Maverick or underrated.
Top Gun Maverick was my number one. So
yeah, or like underseen films that everyone should go watch. Woman
Yes.
Talking and The Woman King, both just like phenomenal. So it's like, well, you've got strong contenders like that. Unfortunately, the Batman had to slide down a bit.
Yeah, I completely get that. But today, you guys, when we're not talking Ant-Man, we're Ant-Man. Oh my goodness.
We're not talking about
I'm screwed up. We are not
Fantastic
talking
Four.
Batman. We are talking Ant-Man. So, but yeah, we're going to talk Ant-Man and the Quantum. I can't even say the name of the film.
Quantumania.
Oh my God, thank you. That's why you're also here too. And then we're going to also talk some movie news, and then we're going to talk about some other fun TV, film related stuff. So Mac, are you ready?
Yes, to quote Killer Keemstar himself, let's get right into the news.
This is CNN, a network of Turner Broadcasting System.
All right, so the news for this week, I will kick us off this week. Guys, my first news topic. Are you guys a fan of Silent Hill?
It's been a while since I played the games. I remember them.
I haven't really played the games, but I don't know. I don't really remember the movies or movie, like
2 movies. They're
two
both with,
movies.
I think they both had Sean Bean in it.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, they are doing another movie. It's going to be a sequel to the 2012 one, Revelations, which it wasn't good. The first one is like an underrated video game adaptation movie, but they're getting a new one. It's going to be called Return to Silent Hill.
Who's gonna direct it? Is it the same director?
It's going to be Gans, who did the first one, and he's going to be returning as a co-writer and a director, especially, and he's going to be doing work on the Silent Hill 2 remake they're doing for consoles. So, you guys excited to go back to the world of Silent Hill and fight Pyramid Head?
Here's the thing. I always mix up Silent Hill with the Elizabeth Olsen movie,
How dare you?
which is probably not good, even though it's called like Silent House, from what I remember. I think that's what it's called, right?
Mhm.
So I don't care about the Silent Hills film, but
I honestly can't even say if I've seen the movie. So yeah, like I'll check it out. I'm never opposed to horror, but
I bet
I don't
you're
know,
excited.
it's tricky.
I bet you're excited though, Mac.
I'm kind of excited. Like I said, I think the first one is a very underrated like adaptation movie when it comes to like what are like some of the best ones. It just sucks that it shared the same year as The Rock. I'm sorry, Dwayne Johnson's 2005 Doom movie with Carla Urban. Like that's oh god.
Oh boy.
Like
Oh no,
and
no.
that was the time when he was Dwayne Johnson. He didn't want to be like The Rock. No, he was still The Rock.
The Rock, yeah.
Yeah, he didn't Dwayne Johnson. It was still like Baby Rock. Like,
Baby Rock.
yeah, Baby Rock. This is Baby Rock. We didn't have like the Jumanji Rock yet. This was like
Jumanji Rock.
this is like Walking Tall Rock, and I like Walking Tall, but I'm really excited. Can't wait to see, especially we might be getting the Five Nights at Freddy movie with Josh Hutcherson and Matthew Lillard. But
That
Chris,
is gonna be great.
I'm excited for it. That movie's been in development for 7 years. They announced that
It's been a long time.
They announced that my sophomore year of high school in 2015.
Fuck, you're old.
Oh.
Yeah. Kristen, what's your news topic?
All right. So Mac, I'm a huge Lilo and Stitch fan, right?
Yes.
All right. So we have one of the stars has been announced for the film. Zach Galifianakis joins the live action Disney adaptation from Marcel the Shell Helmer. And he is going to play a character that we are unsure about. They didn't announce what character yet, but Galifianakis, who is most known for the Hangover franchise, has signed on to star in the film, which is going to debut on Disney Plus. Details on his role are kept under wraps, but is based on the 2002 animated film, and that is examined the relationship between a lonely girl named Lilo and alien Stitch, engineered to be force of destruction. And then we know that Chris Sanders, is going to be back for the project. So lots of good movies coming out with this on this Disney Plus, one of them being the Lilo and Stitch. And now that Zach Galifianakis is attached to star, what do you guys think of this casting? And what do you guys see him playing?
I was trying to think who he would be playing. I was following either Jumba or Pleakley. He has to be an alien, and I see it being one of those two.
It's probably gonna be Jumba. That's all.
That's what I was thinking. Like I can't see him as like an ordinary like scientist or anything like that. Like
he ends up playing Stitch.
I don't know. No, I don't know. The original voice actor of Stitch is coming back to reprise his role.
Okay, that's. I'll give them respect. I don't want to see you live. Like that's gonna look terrifying. Oh god.
I said this on another show too. We were talking about this, but I'm nervous to see how they're gonna turn Stitch. But I just find it very interesting that Zach Galifianakis is set to star in this film, because I'm trying to think of what other Zach Galifianakis films that he was in previously. the only time I remember he was like in a Disney movie was like when he appeared in the Muppets movies.
Oh no, he's in A Wrinkle in Time too.
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh, I forgot. Like, but then again, that's A Wrinkle in Time. Do I really want to remember that? No.
Yes, you remember everything.
Yes, you do. That was a great movie.
Oh no, Darren.
What if the design for Stitch comes out and it's like the first Sonic trailer when it's like a terrible
no,
design after?
please don't say that.
Don't say that.
I'm not ready for that.
I didn't realize it was going to Disney Plus. I was really excited, and now I hear Disney Plus, and I'm going, well, maybe that will change if Iger back in the mix, because like, what are we? This should be in theaters, and I don't have faith in the Disney Plus live action films after Pinocchio.
Yeah, I mean, so far from the Disney Plus live action films, we've seen, Lady and the Tramp, which premiered on the Disney Plus.
Yeah,
live
and
action.
that one was good. Lady and the Tramp was good, but I feel like that one was probably geared for theatrical, then switched to Disney Plus to debut with it. I feel like that was a pivot. So like pivot Lilo and Stitch back the other way, back to theaters.
But then again, I feel like it would, if they were going to release in theaters, I feel like it would have made the same money as like a Peach Dragon would have.
I could see Lilo and Stitch being bigger. Like Stitch is still big in the theme parks.
That's
like he's a recognizable character, and like the first one, from what I remember when I saw it in theaters, it did well too. Like it was everyone was going to see it. So like
I remember seeing in theaters too.
Okay, good. I'm not that old.
Darren, you and I are the old ones here. Mac is the baby here.
Yeah.
Listen, I think if you're saying Disney Plus, I'm getting flashbacks to Artemis Fowl. So I can't wait for Lilo and Stitch to be the new Artemis Fowl of Disney Plus.
No, don't say that.
No. New conversation now. No.
I don't know. It's like, who's gonna play Lilo? Who's gonna play
They didn't announce
Lilo?
Lilo yet.
Lilo will probably be an unknown unless there's someone who's like on Big Little Lies or something, like a show like that. That's a good young actor. I feel like that one they cast a new person, and they cast
or something like on a streaming service, like somebody like there was like this show called Amber Brown. I feel like one of the stars from that could be like in it. Or there's like this Apple series called, I think it's called like Surf Girl, something that involves surfing. I feel like one of them can do that.
Yeah, they're gonna pull from someone who's a bit more unknown there, or go new, which Disney likes to kind of cast new, so I could see it being someone new. But
I think the Lilo and Stitch movie, that's probably one of the live action ones that I feel like has the potential to go either way. So it can be really like terrifying and bad, or it could be good. Like I want it to be good. I love Lilo and Stitch. It's just that in live action, I was like, man, that sounds like a horror movie, like kind of like an alien movie, like something like that. But like, I'm excited for it. I'll give it a watch, and I'm just gotta see what it looks like first.
I also want to acknowledge, since we're on the topic of this, How to Train Your Dragon is also becoming live action. I don't know how I feel about that.
Too soon. Too soon.
It is way too soon, because the last film just came out in 2019.
Yeah.
So awesome. It just feels like we're really gonna touch this project again after it was like, a great solid 3 films. It's like, the last 3 Planet of the Apes movies. You don't want to touch those again because all 3 were so good.
They are.
But they are.
The 4th one's coming. They just wrapped up filming.
Oh, the 4th one?
Yeah, it's a new.
I thought they was gonna do a TV series.
No, this is a movie.
No, another movie. I thought it's another trilogy they were talking about.
Yeah, it's a new trilogy. It's new director, new cast, new everything.
Yeah.
Oh,
isn't it Wes Ball who did the Maze Runner series?
Yes, and I'm terrified.
Okay.
I like the first Maze Runner.
Something completely new that I guess I didn't realize. My bad.
I love those movies.
But anyways, on a different subject, How to Train Your Dragon. No fans here of making a live action. Leave it animated.
Why would you though? That's the question. What is there to gain for making How to Train Your Dragon, which has like
DreamWorks wants to get into that.
Make Shrek 5. That's all we want. We don't want live action. Make Shrek 5 for Christ's sake.
I love Puss in Boots. They should do another Puss in Boots movie.
I'd be down for Puss in Boots. Puss in Boots Last Wish was funny.
It was so good. It was like one of my favorite movies that came out last year.
I still need to see it.
It's so good, Darren. I was
like sick over the holidays, and then like I finally got back, and it was like not at my local theater. I'm like, well, I don't want to have to drive an hour for this movie, so I'm waiting for the rental. But I will watch it. I need to see it. I'm a big Shrek fan, so yeah.
I can't wait to hear your thoughts. But Mac, what's your next piece of news?
All right. So speaking of classic kids characters, we had that new Winnie the Pooh horror movie, Blood and Honey, and it is god awful with the reviews. The reviews currently is sitting at a 5% on Rotten Tomatoes critical score, while the audience score is a 52%. So not even good audiences. The joke was over past the thing, and the critic consensus is just oh bother.
Oh bother.
And the director went on a tangent. If I can,
no.
Let's see the director rant. This is from the director Reese Frake Waterfield. Yeah, everyone normally focuses on the haters. It's been really nice. There's been two camps of people. It's a bit like Marmite. You've got like the lovers and the haters. 50% of people absolutely love it and are obsessed with it. And then I got the haters. They're the people who have messaged me on Instagram, but obviously they're not the people I'm making the film for. It's really nice to see all the excitement we're getting from people. We had the opening night yesterday and it went really well. I think about midday or until about 6 p.m. we were number one in the US box office, which was totally insane. And in Mexico recently, it crossed over $1 million in that one territory. So things are going very strong with it. We've had a host of comments coming in for people all over Instagram, messaging myself, the producers, the cast. Lots of people are really into the film. It's got a very kind of particular taste to it, but the people who like it get the taste and they like the horror. They obviously loved it. Some people have been saying it's one of their favorite films they've seen recently, or at least this year, or at least the last year, and exactly what they wanted it to be. And he ended it off with, but some people were like, they want a little bit more seriousness in it. I'm just taking all the comments on board now. We're getting ready to start prepping the sequel. And yeah, I'm just really excited. There's been so many good positive reviews and comments about people have been making, which is really nice when you put up the time into something. The project is blown up to a scale way beyond what we initially thought it was. So yeah, it's Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey. Guys, obviously I don't think any of you guys saw this movie.
No, not yet.
No.
What was your reaction when the news report came out and then we got that trailer and those images of Piglet and Pooh killing people?
Darren, go ahead. You go first.
Do I have words to describe my reaction? I looked at it and went, okay then. Like, I don't want to discredit the filmmaker. I saw his statement and I saw him interacting with people on Twitter over the weekend. Like, it's one thing to knock a film because you don't like it, but I saw lots of people in the really negative reviews, like attacking him and his filmmaking. And I'm like, okay, look, the budget on this thing is nothing. Like, you can't attack that. Like, if you're going to criticize something, you need to put it into perspective. This is not a Marvel movie. Of course it's going to look like that. Like, they did it. They funded it themselves and all that. Like, they did all that. So like, you have to give them props for doing that. Whether you like it or not is a whole other scenario.
Mm-hmm. It's just based on how much money they had and just debating it on the final product. That's what you need to focus on itself.
Exactly. Because like, I've seen negative reviews that were at least, giving them props for doing it and a good interaction from him. Mm-hmm. So like, I think people were just like expecting something absolutely ridiculous and camp, and it wasn't what they wanted. And because it's such a low budget production film that they just then trash it because it feels like that, because it doesn't have the budget, versus
I see.
if you have that filmmaking perspective head, which I do because I used to work in the industry. So like, you know how much time and effort goes into these things. So it's really hard to knock it down because they didn't have the budget and it looks bad because that's what they had to work with. So like, I'm not surprised people didn't like it because it sounds ridiculous, but I'll check it out just because I have to see this.
I still want to see it because I'm interested because of the whole meme, and it's become so much talked about on the internet. It's like, you have to see it. Like, I understand it for being not good. I mean, look at the images. Look at it. Doesn't look good to begin with.
They ate Eeyore.
Yeah. What?
You didn't know? That's like they like in the synopsis, like they ate Eeyore.
Yeah, it's wild.
I thought that wasn't. They're serious with that?
Yeah, they ate him. They killed him. They ate him.
Oh God. I like Eeyore.
Well, to be honest, too, the thing is that the director said he does want to make a little cinematic universe because he did mention doing. They already have a Bambi. Yep, the Bambi in development, and like I think this Winnie the Pooh is like, this was not going to be I think everyone said like, okay, this looks really stupid, but I think that was a joke. And it's like, okay, Blood and Honey, Winnie the Pooh killing people, and it's like, I think it's just like once you got past that, I feel like with this film you're not going to really get a lot. But
Mm-hmm.
you made a movie. Like props to you. I mean, a lot of people say they can't. You made something. It released in theaters, and I feel like that's a big accomplishment. Even if it's not good, you at least put some effort into it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's hard to get your film in theaters nowadays because of the whole theater industry climate. So I give props to the director. He worked hard to get his film out there. So good for the director.
Yeah.
Good for Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey.
It's actually
mark?
At the time of this recording, it has grossed $2.7 million internationally.
Oh and my gosh, that's huge.
You think about the number of screens it had. Like I think in Vancouver, where I'm from, there was maybe 4 screens showing it for one showing on the, like maybe 2 showings on the Wednesday. Like there wasn't a lot of screens. So the fact it's made 2.7 million is huge.
Yeah, that's really big.
Yeah.
All right, my last piece of news story. The Golden Globes set 2024 date with no broadcasting partner yet set in stone. Uh-oh. The 81st Annual Golden Globe Awards will be held Sunday, January 7th, 2024. When the announcement was made, there has been no network that's been attached. The award show produced by Dick Clark Productions does not have a broadcasting partner beyond this year's event. Oh my goodness, I can't talk today. The award show produced by Dick Clark Productions does not have a broadcast partner beyond this year's event, which aired on the Globe's longtime network NBC. Discussions are reportedly underway with outlets including NBC. The 2023 80th Annual Golden Globe Awards, which marked the show's return to TV following the non-televised 2022 show, in controversy surrounding the lack of diversity among Hollywood Foreign Press Association memberships, drew 6.3 million viewers at an all-time low. So, do you guys care that there's no air date for the Golden Globes? No, well, it has an air date, but no broadcasting network. Should they just put this on YouTube like what they're going to do now with SAG Awards? What do you guys feel about this?
Put it online. Let's get rid of playing off people, because this year that left a very bad taste in everyone's mouth, to the point where they were yelling at the poor pianist who wasn't even playing the music.
That is true.
Like, just put it online. Don't need to run it off. You may not be able to track the numbers as well for sponsorship and advertising, which I guess is a huge thing there, but like, just whatever. I
mean, I think it's smart, to be fair, what SAG is doing, because that's what they get their sponsorships from this year, from all the, endorsements from, their own clients that they have. And then to stream it online on YouTube, I feel like that's going to be one of the most live stream events on YouTube, I feel like. And that's so accessible at this point, and it's going to be on Netflix starting in 2024.
Okay, I was about to say they were the ones going to Netflix. Yeah,
so which I think is going to be huge for Netflix, because no other award show has been on a quote unquote streaming platform, unless you want to consider like Paramount Plus doing like the Tony Awards, but this is like a home streamer viewer platform. So Mac, what do you think?
Just stream it on Twitch.
Stream it on Twitch.
Like literally, like that's where you get it. Like, hey, you just watch.
Do they get a Twitch partnership?
Yeah, like they can, like that'd be funny if they stream on Twitch. They get taken down for like DMCA and their own stuff. But I don't know. Like, does anyone really? I'm not gonna say like really watch it. Like, does anyone go out their way to like watch the Golden Globes instead of just, like,
that's the beginning of award season.
That's true.
This is like the pregame. This is like.
Well, I mean,
football season for me. This is like.
Do more people
playoffs?
Do more people watch the Golden Globes, or do they watch the Oscars? Like, which one is like more viewed?
Oh, Oscars. Golden Globes is the fun one because they're all drinking.
That's true.
Everybody's drinking, and everybody like. This is like a one where they don't serve dinner; they just serve drinks.
I did like Ricky Gervais' speech he gave in 2020. That was it.
Well, the fun part is Ricky Gervais.
Yes,
that's the whole fun of the Golden Globes, or Tina Fey and Amy Poehler.
I will agree, like probably just online, because a lot of people don't really have the cable anymore. They have DirecTV or like, Roku, Fire Stick, and there's not really a lot of like streaming stuff that'd be like, hey, tune into this channel to watch the Golden Globes, because people just go online and just rip it off like a live stream that someone has on like Buff Streams or something. So it's like, just take it online.
then it makes me wonder how they're going to do the Oscars in the future.
Oh, they'll keep that on TV as long as TV's around.
That one will stay.
That one will stay. Yeah,
It's
true.
the big one. They may do the dual, like it might be like
they do that on Hulu already.
It's on Hulu. I can see it going Disney Plus worldwide because ABC.
Yeah.
But that one will definitely stay on cable because,
Especially if they have more slapping on there. They'll definitely keep them on TV.
All righty. So I think that's all I have on the news end. Moving on from that point.
That's true. I mean, come on. No one was really talking about the Oscars until Will Smith smacked Chris Rock.
Or the La La Land.
That's
fiasco.
it. That is funny. What's our favorite Oscar moments? Mine's definitely La La Land.
We don't talk about that moment because I'm still not over it.
Yeah, same. I'm a La La Land stand. And
that's true. I think it was more awkward that like the guy was like, I want to think like, because didn't he like dedicate it to like someone who died? And then they're like, oh, we didn't win. I said, oh.
I got like a migraine after watching that. Like I went into like a fetal position, I remember, and I was like screaming at the TV, and I'm like, what is happening? And then everyone around me was like, what the hell
did they
is
say
going
like
on?
how that got mixed up? Did they ever say like how that happened?
It was with the cases.
They didn't give the presenters the new cakes because they had just gone out and presented. They didn't give them the new thing because the accountants were too busy chatting with the stars. And
oh my god.
And they were fired. There was people getting fired and probably banned from the
that
industry.
accounting firm doesn't do the Oscars I believe anymore. Yeah,
they don't.
They don't.
You blew your chance. But if that's it,
I do have a cringy moment though from the Oscars that still scares in my mind.
Is it James Franco and Anne Hathaway hosting?
Yes, and when they did the James Franco wore the pink dress and then Anne Hathaway wore the tux, I'm just like, what the hell is this? What is going on anymore?
What year was that?
That was like 2010. It was the year he was nominated for the 127
hours.
Oh, that was
126 hours, whatever it's called. 127 hours. Yeah, 127 hours.
7. Yeah.
Oh, that was 2011 because
2011.
The King's Speech won Best Picture.
Should have been The Social Network.
Yeah, as I gotten older, I was like, yeah, The Social Network should have won. Like, then again, I was not a fan of The King's Speech. But then y'all can throw the tomatoes at me. But anyways, guys, that was our news. I don't know how we got here with this news cycle.
One more Oscar thing with the James Franco. Apparently, James Franco told Anne Hathaway to not tell him how to be funny during the rehearsals, and that sounds about right with James Franco.
I think they're both not funny unless James Franco is given a script. I mean, he was good on SNL, but then we're talking about a canceled actor, and we just talked about him last time.
What's going on? Oh god.
Somehow James Franco is creeping up on our podcast. I don't know if I like this.
Green Goblin, what are you doing? But yeah, that's our news. You have any news stories, you can send us to us at Instagram or leave it down in the comments below what we may miss. So now it's time to get into the topic, and that's Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumanium. Yeah.
You ready?
Ready. Tonight,
I will burn them out of time for what they've done to me.
be the first
You're not getting out.
to experience Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. Rated PG-13. In theaters everywhere tonight. Get tickets now.
All right, so the topic today, we are talking about Ant-Man 3 or Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumanium or Ant-Man Quantumania, whatever you want to call it. This is the first film in Phase 5 of the MCU, and it introduces Kang, the Conqueror, played by the very talented Jonathan Majors. And in this film, we follow Hope, Paul Rudd, aka Scott, his daughter Cassie, played by Catherine Newton, Hank and Janet, as they all get sucked into the quantum verse or the quantum realm, and they try to escape and beat Kang the Conqueror from escaping and destroying timelines. So this is the first movie, like I said, of Phase 5, and this is the first proper introduction, not counting Loki. We're not going to count Loki here. Our first proper introduction as Kang the Conqueror, one of his variants as the villain, because as you know, Kang will be the big bad, the new Thanos in Phase 5 and 6, leading up to Avengers Kang Dynasty and the Secret Wars. So first I'll start off with this, guys. Do you like Ant-Man? Are you a fan of Ant-Man and the Wasp, the 2015 Ant-Man?
I'm gonna just do this. Ant-Man. Ant-Man. If you know what that's from, if you watch the MTV production things, like when they were doing Ant-Man promotion, look up Michael Douglas and Ant-Man like slapping and knee slapping. Hilarious. And all they doing was a hand slapping routine. It was not hand slapping, knee slapping. Sorry, wrong body part.
Oh my gosh.
It's so funny. I love it. I love that promo. But yeah, I love Ant-Man.
Ants. Ant-Man.
Warning, minor spoilers for Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania upcoming. Warning, spoilers for Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania upcoming.
I really like the first Ant-Man. I think it's one of the most underrated Marvel films out there. It's a great heist film. It's got the humor. The second one was a little silly. I still really enjoy it, but you just have to put that in perspective. That came out 2 months after Infinity War. If they gave us another dark, depressing film, Marvel fans would have had a breakdown. So we'll take it for what it is. So I'm a fan. Yeah.
So obviously, if many of you don't know, Edgar Wright was in development of an Ant-Man movie for years until they did the whole reshuffling the MCU, and he got dropped from the project, if I'm not mistaken, because now I heard the story that he left because they wanted him to connect it to the MCU, and he said he didn't want to do that. Is that why?
He wanted to make it like his own.
His own thing.
Yeah.
Okay. And that honestly, and apparently that a lot of the script for the first movie, that is a lot of his stuff. And it's just like, who directed the first one? Peyton Reed?
Peyton Reed, yeah.
So it's like, I think maybe like 90% was Edgar Wright's and like about 10% was Peyton Reed's. Because I know like the Thomas the Tank Engine joke, that's Edgar Wright's joke. And like, obviously I thought that would have been cool because I think we had footage of his Ant-Man. It was like the scene in the hallway and was fighting, and then he got in the elevator. Like that looked cool.
Yeah,
but we got the 2015.
It was awesome.
We got the 2015 one, which came after Age of Ultron, and I'm noticing a trend with the Ant-Man movies. They come out after movies that like actually are, I would say, not
the
better,
staples, like the staple points from those phases.
It was Age of Ultron with number 1. Number 2 was literally, like Darren said, Infinity War. And then this one came out right after Black Panther: Wakanda Forever. So it's just, I don't know why they released these movies after these.
It's hard to step up from that was previously released. I will say that.
And it's also funny. Ant-Man 1 closed phase 2. Ant-Man 3 opened phase 5. Like I think it's the only franchise that's opened and closed a phase.
Yeah, that's true.
Which is wild.
But so obviously there's some controversy with Ant-Man and the Wasp because currently it is sitting at a critic score of 47% rotten on Rotten Tomatoes, and it is tied for the Eternals as the worst reviewed MCU movie ever. And obviously there is some big point of contention, especially on this panel here, where yours truly didn't think it was awful, but was just not impressed by it. While these two were like, oh, it's great. We love it. And we're going to talk about it and see what happens. So we're going to start off and talk about what was this movie about without spoilers? Who wants to explain Ant-Man?
Darren, you go ahead because you're our guest. So go ahead.
Okay. Plot. We are set after the blip with Scott back in San Francisco together with Hope, raising Cassie. And Cassie, Hope, and Hank have created a device to communicate with the quantum realm to basically map it out and figure out what's down there, driven by Cassie's loss of her father being stuck there between Ant-Man and the Wasp and Endgame for 4 years or 5 years. And basically the device, I won't say how, but it just activates by itself and they get sucked down into the quantum realm. And at that point, they learn that Janet has been hiding a lot of secrets about what is actually happening down there as they try to find their way home.
You set it up perfectly.
Yeah.
Honestly, that was great. So what were your expectations for this? Were they set pretty high, or were you set in the middle pretty mid? Because, you know, Ant-Man has, I feel like, a mid reputation. He's not a fan favorite by many, but, you know, he's a fan favorite of me. Darren, I know you, I'm sure you're a fan of him. Mac, I feel like you are mid with him. So
mine were very high.
Same.
In terms of looking at the Marvel projects coming this year, I was more excited for Quantumania than the Marvels or Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2.
really,
This was a huge set of the building blocks for what's coming in the future. Guardians is going to be tie up those characters. The Marvels, we know nothing of what's happening there. So this was like the film to kickstart, especially after Phase 4, to get some people back on board. I don't know why they left. I thought it was great, but yeah. This one I had very high hopes and expectations, and they were met for the most part.
Yeah, I could say mine were met for the most part. And because this was like, if out of all the besides Guardians, I was excited more for this film than like the Marvels. So Mac, how do you feel?
I was more excited for Blade, to be honest with you, but seeing that it's gonna be PG-13, that's gonna break my heart. Like I said, I'm not really a fan of Ant-Man. I like Paul Rudd. I think he's a great Ant-Man, but I just feel like his stories aren't really that compelling for me. Like I feel like besides this one, his are kind of like isolated and they don't really overall arc into the story like of the entire MCU. Maybe the second one, because they do establish like, hey, the quantum realm and like time traveling. I feel like that kind of like more. I feel like his stories besides this one, they are just contained to this one. Like the only thing I saw Ant-Man Quantumania doing was like it was going to. I knew for a fact it was going to introduce the big bad. We just didn't know who it was going to be yet. And then when they said, "Hey, it's going to be Kang," I said, "You sure we can't do Galactus? Is it too late? You know, since you're doing fantastic work, can we?"
Galactus is still coming. That's coming, I think.
Please,
Like that's going to be Secret Wars because Kang is for Kang Dynasty. We still have Secret Wars. There's more coming.
Because like I want like that's that like I that because I thought with Eternals I wasted my time. I'm like, oh, they're gonna introduce Galactus. No, okay, Kang. You know, Kang's cool, but I don't know. I just felt like I said, I was excited more when it was coming out in July. I'm like, okay, this will be the perfect Marvel movie to see in the summer. But starting it off with it, I was just not feeling it.
All right. Before we get into the negatives though of it, I could see where you want to go with this, Mac. Let's talk about the positives. What are the positive aspects of this film?
Jonathan Majors carrying this entire movie. Sorry.
Yeah, Jonathan Majors, like he was incredible. Marvel has done a wonderful job snatching him before he was a name, and they've got him locked down for the next few years. I cannot wait for more of him. He was phenomenal.
I think he's a great villain. I think he is such a huge like step up from Thanos. I mean, Thanos was the big baddie here. Now we have the ultimate baddie here. And I think with Jonathan Majors, he's had so many successful projects. I want to say in the short career, I think we're looking at, you know, a future Oscar winner here.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
honestly.
100%. Yeah.
And knowing what he was able to bring to this project, he is definitely a standout for the film. And I love the different variants that he, you know, comes off as. Yes, we have a post-credit scene. Maybe we'll spoil this a little bit.
We can spoil that a little bit. I'll just spoil it word.
You know, we get all these different variants of him, and some of them are a little bit vibrant than others from what you see in the crowd and stuff. And there's so many of them. I'm excited to see him really transform into each variant and make each variant his own. And like what we're going to see in Loki, he's going to be appearing in Loki from what we know, which is very exciting. And knowing we get that post-credit scene at the very end with Owen Wilson and Tom Hiddleston is very, very exciting. And I think it's going to be better. I'm hoping a better season 2 than it was for 1, whether if you liked Loki or not.
I loved Loki.
Remember I was saying to my dad this, I said, well, I told him about the whole different versions of him. And I said, I told him, I said, Dad, in Loki, he said, if you think I'm bad, wait till you meet my other me's. They're even worse than me. I said, shit, it's gonna get
like a multi-personality disorder.
Yeah. And it's like the fact that he said, oh, I was exiled from the council. And I said, oh, so you're that evil that like they had to kick you out. Like Rick and Morty just kicked the most like non-Rick out. They kicked him like the evilest Kang out. I know it's like, but yeah, I thought Jonathan Majors, he definitely carried the movie. Like I feel like every time he was on scene, he has a good screen presence to him.
Oh yeah, there
Yeah,
was
like-
a gravitas he brought to the role. Like it felt like a stage actor. You're watching them in that moment in their craft, and it was just captivating.
Speaking
Yeah.
of stage moments, he was just in a Broadway production too. So
Mhm.
he really brings
Yeah,
I say bravado to life. So
Like, 'cause-
I just wanted to say that out there.
Every time he talks, I just feel like I want to hear what he has to say. And like, there was a scene where he was talking to Scott, and Cassie's there too, and he's like, "I'll kill your daughter. I'm not joking." Like he just says it like in no joking way. Like you like, oh, this man will actually kill them like in the heart. He's not tested
and so calmly. It's like, ooh, like yeah.
I love Jonathan Majors, and the fact that like Darren said, they locked him up because he's having a big year this year. He did Devotion earlier in the year.
Oh, and I apologize that he was not on Broadway earlier this year. My bad. I was mixing him up with somebody else. I'm sorry.
He's doing, he's done this, which will bring a lot of attention to him for like the mainstream, and then he's gonna be in Creed 3, which I'm a little iffy about it because I don't know Michael B. Jordan as a director, but Jonathan Majors, he looks ripped, he's ready to go, like beat people down and everything, and I'm really excited to see what he has coming up next.
And then he's got magazine dreams.
Magazine. Oh,
Did you see that, Kristen? I can't remember if you saw that.
I didn't get to see it.
Yeah.
I was really disappointed I didn't get a ticket for that one. I really wish I did. I am gonna see it though, like as soon as it comes out, because I'm so happy Searchlight got the rights to it.
Oh, yeah,
so
you told me about that movie.
Yeah, we talked about it. We actually talked about that movie last week with Tyler.
Yeah.
Shout out to Tyler. Thanks for coming on, Tyler. But anyways, besides Jonathan Majors, what did y'all think of the cast returning? So Paul Rudd and Evangeline Lilly and Michelle Pfeiffer, and of course, Michael Douglas. What y'all think? I love seeing all of them back again.
It was great seeing them all back. I had like ranges of how much I enjoyed them. I thought Evangeline Lilly got the weakest character out there. She was just kind of along for the ride with the family, so she didn't get much to do, which was okay. Like I liked her before, but there wasn't much for her to do this time, and she did what she needed to do.
Yeah.
Catherine
She
Newton,
serves her purpose, I will say with that.
Yeah, she serves her purpose, but there wasn't much depth there. Paul Rudd is a lot of fun as always. So that was great. I thought Catherine Newton was a good addition as Cassie, but the two standouts, I thought Michael Douglas was probably the best he's been in a Marvel film.
Yes.
He really had a lot of fun to do with his character, and just the one-liners were a lot of fun.
I love his ants.
Yeah.
I love
the ants. That was the end. He comes in at the ants. I'm just like, and just the lines coming out of him, you're like, yes, like Michael Douglas
love
is
the
having
ending where
so
they're
much fun. It's great.
It's just like him with all the ants. It's so cinematically impactful, but silly at the same time. I just loved it. It was a
yes. And then there was Michelle Pfeiffer, who was as good as Jonathan Majors. She was just on fire. I loved her every second she was on screen. Most of her scenes were with Jonathan Majors, so that was just like great. Just like make the whole movie the two of them. Like show me their time in the quantum realm. Like it was
that would have been interesting.
It would have been really interesting. And like the thing I love seeing that for Michelle Pfeiffer, being an actress of her age, being given kind of the second most important role in that movie after King, I thought was huge and a step in the right direction.
Definitely. I completely
some
agree
diversity
with that.
there.
Yeah, I absolutely love that. Mac, what do you think?
I saw a meme where it says the most unbelievable part of Ant-Man, the new Ant-Man, is having Evangeline Lilly play someone who believes in science. That made me laugh for some reason.
Because of her COVID.
Yeah. Like
we won't talk about that.
Not gonna talk about that.
Like I said, Paul Rudd is a national treasure. He must be protected at all costs. And I think no matter what I think about a movie, I will always say like he's probably like he's always entertaining. Like there's not like a weak role, I would say. Michael Douglas, you did say, you guys are right. He did have much, because like you ever notice like a lot of the older actors when they do the MCU movie, they kind of look miserable.
Yeah.
Like, but
he looks like he is having fun.
Yeah.
That'd probably be Harrison Ford and Thunderbolts being miserable or having fun.
I could see him like if Harrison Ford had to join a MCU, he would just be like the most glummiest person on the set. I feel like he would bring the same energy he probably brought to like the Star Wars Force Awakens.
He's gonna be Red Hulk next year, so we'll get to see that energy.
Oh, right.
I feel like he's gonna be different for that one just because of the circumstances. Because he's replacing William Hurt, so he's gonna probably try and replacing a colleague of his. So it's like, okay.
And then
hopefully a bit more.
I like Catherine Newton. I thought I loved her in Freaky because that was like her breakout.
Yes.
But I just didn't like
Mhm.
her character. I thought she was very annoying, and like it's nothing against her. I think it's more just the writing I thought was very weak in this
She,
movie. Well,
the
it's
way
like
I saw it, she's just a young kid.
she's young, and it's like I just feel like there could have been like stuff you could have written. Like I mentioned before, like how there's a part where they're like, "Hey, you people in the quantum realm, you guys are talking about this conqueror, let's help you." Like they could have been cool to like flesh out like, "Hey, Cassie, not everyone's like black and white like you think, or there's some very gray," but like I don't know, like I know people are like, "Oh, she's the worst part of the movie." Like, no, she's not.
No, she's
not.
definitely not the worst part of the film.
There's
She
still-
actually reminds me of like what Kate Bishop is in, the
Okay.
Hawkeye
Yeah.
series.
Mhm.
Like I could see the two of them like being friends and taking
Yes.
down, all
Well,
the
she is gonna be like
MCU baddies.
she is gonna be the new like Avengers, like this Avenger new ones.
Yeah,
like
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind that at
I
all,
still-
and I really like her. I think she would just. This is just the beginning of her character,
Yeah.
and I could see her
Yeah.
them evolving her character.
I will say
Greater
there's
lengths.
there's still time to fix her, and I feel like that she could bring a lot of characters. Just like with this introduction, I did not like this first introduction.
But definitely her. The other good part. What did you think about Peyton's directing?
I didn't mind it. Like it was a change in tone from him from the previous two films. So I thought he
Definitely.
handled that pivot well. It felt very classic, like original trilogy Star Wars, which I was really enjoying. You had the
Mhm.
cantina scene, you had all the creatures, you had the big kind of battle at the end. It was like kind of attacking the Death Star. So like he handled the tone of it really well. Sure, there were some directorial moments that I would have changed, but
Mhm.
that comes with doing a superhero film. Like you're not so much always on this is your vision versus this is the overall vision of the series. So you have to find the balance, which I think he
Right.
does a very good job of.
I can agree to that. And then Mac, what do you think?
I mean, I know like what Ant-Man and the Wasp second one, that was really like he did that one right too.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So that was like the first one I saw. He did like 100% of everything. And I'm like, I didn't think Ant-Man and the Wasp was bad. Like, I think the only part is like, I kind of like the villain in that one. I know people are like, oh, that's a weak villain. I thought her character was kind of interesting. So seeing him kind of go all out and like, he had a lot of pressure on him because this is like, this is the start of phase 5. Like, there's going to be a lot of introductions. So it's like, I think for what he did fine. Like, I just, I don't even know if it's like more of his directing. It's just this is something else I have a problem with. That's like he's fine. Like bring him back. Yeah, obviously, Marvel likes to have their in-house directors because we've seen numerous times when they try to do other directors how that's kind of blow up in the face. I'm looking at you, Chloe Zhao. And
Don't
Kenneth
disrespect Chloe. Don't disrespect her. She directed a brilliant film in Internals, and people are now realizing how wrong they were.
And then Kenneth Branagh, that's another one I'm looking at. But
I love Thor.
but like I don't know. It's just they'll probably use them again because if they're doing another Ant-Man movie, because there probably will be an Ant-Man movie. This is almost at $400 million. Like it's a Marvel movie, it's gonna make money. So
Thor is already in the talks. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm not surprised. But like my thing is, what would you do in Ant-Man 4?
Well, it depends how they're going to develop the MCU for the
That's
rest.
true, yeah.
Yeah.
We already got it we already have 5, so it depends how it all lays out for 6.
Fantastic Four. That's all we care about. That's the only one I want.
No.
Yes.
Yeah.
But anyways, let's talk the negatives. Because I have one negative right now on the tip of my tongue that I've been waiting anxiously to talk about.
Then go first. Get it out.
We have George Lopez. Corey Stroll returning as MODOK.
I knew you were gonna say that. I knew you were gonna say that. I love it. Mr. Electric, what are you doing? This is the Marvel. This is a Shark Boy Lava Girl.
Somehow that ended up in the movie. I don't know. MODOK is such a cult favorite. We had a failed Hulu project with Patton Oswalt.
That was actually low-key good. Maybe because my
just
sister
It
think
was good, but
I feel like nobody really watched it, and nobody like the true Marvel fans actually like really watched it. I just skimmed it. Like I was like, all right, I wasn't a fan of episode 1, and I was like, all right, I'm turned off. So, but I was not expecting to see Corey Stroll return to the MCU, aka Darren, who we know as Yellow Jacket from the first film. He's MODOK magically. Like I was not expecting to see a booty of Corey Stroll in the film. Like, okay. And then dunking some goop and had a computer strapped to his head. And yep, he's a MODOK. He's cranky and has all the MODOK tendencies. And yep, that's MODOK. And you're not missing much, folks, with MODOK. It's a meme. I think that's why he was put in there, just for the memes and for the laughs of it all. Like, to get the kids laughing, I feel like.
Like, if we say kids, also me, because I was laughing a lot when he was.
I mean, it's stupid.
Oh, it was stupid, but
it was so stupid. Like, I loved and hated it, but it was definitely one of the weaker parts of the film. Like, it really pulled me out of the film. Like, I was like, okay, I'm invested in with everything else, but when he shows up, it like counteracts the film. Like, okay, just like this didn't fit well. Like, maybe if Darren showed up in a different character, I don't know who, but it just didn't really work for me. Like, it really brought the mood down. But don't get me wrong.
Yeah,
it was entertaining.
It was something, all right.
Yeah, it was something. It was something. And it was so funny because Corey Stroll, we know from like Billions, and he's taken on so many serious projects.
Mm-hmm.
It's so left field for him. Like, I'm very surprised to see him in this movie as MODOK. I mean, just the MODOK character of himself. I wonder how much Disney paid him. That's the good question.
Probably a lot of money.
A lot of money. So many zeros.
Yeah. They're like, okay,
more zeros than what Billions, I feel like, gives them.
They're probably be like, hey, listen, you're gonna be playing a floating head, so we're just gonna capture your head on green screen. You just be expressive as you all want.
It was probably like 2 or 3 days of filming / recording voice for him. Like, it was probably an easy gig.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it was an easy gig, along with Bill Murray. I feel like Bill Murray was not in this very, very long. I felt like he served no purpose to the film at all.
So I went to the bathroom during his part, so I don't know what happened to his character definitively. I had to go, and I had a coffee already. I said, oh my gosh, I just ran to the bathroom, and then
he served as, like, you know, a thing to Michelle Pfeiffer.
Okay,
just hilarious.
And it was hinted that they may have like messed around, right?
Oh, it was more than hinted at. It was like all but the word sex said. Yeah.
Yeah, because like she was like, I was gone for 30 years, and you know,
I had needs, and like,
and
Hope is going, oh boy, and
and Hope is like, I don't want to hear this from my parents, and then Hank Pym is like, I went on another date, but she was
Linda.
no you. So he was a simp, and you know, didn't waited on his wife to come back, but which I thought was cute, but like
it was a good moment.
Michelle, I mean, but like I didn't care for the moment with Bill Murray. I mean, like his character could have been mentioned, but we didn't need to see it.
Yeah, of two minds. Like going back to MODOK, I liked how they did it. It was a hard character to bring to the MCU because MODOK is a bit more kind of R-rated, like Deadpool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So it's how do you bring in that character to the MCU? You can't obviously give him his own R-rated film because no one's going to watch a MODOK film. No one will watch the TV show. You have to kind of work him in. So I felt like this was a good way to do it. And then the goofiness of Ant-Man worked with what they were doing. Sure, it wasn't for everyone. Some moments weren't funny. Some were really funny. It's entertaining. So I thought that worked. As for Bill Murray, I just love the fact that Marvel got Bill Murray because he doesn't do much anymore. So like they got Bill Murray, and watching him and Michelle Pfeiffer, Michael Douglas just do their thing. As you know, he's flirting with Michelle Pfeiffer. Michael Douglas is like, what's going on here? It was just a real fun moment. And I took the family on the weekend, and that one, you know, my mom really enjoyed that one, you know, being of that age, those actors. She's like, that's great. Like Bill Murray, Michelle Pfeiffer, Michael Douglas. She's like, give me more. I'm like, don't need more, but like, it was a good moment. Yeah.
I feel like he could have served as maybe like a future villain, because that's what I was thinking in my head, like besides Jonathan Majors. Like, I don't know, like that's what like they could have teamed up or something. I don't know. That's what was in my head. I'm
reading some fun MODOK facts for y'all.
Oh, no.
Apparently in a early script for Iron Man, he was first considered to be the villain in the first one. And then listen to this. If you think that's crazy, he was considered to appear early during the development of Captain America and Winter Soldier. They even got as far to cast Peter Dinklage as MODOK before they replaced him with Robert Redford's Alexander Pierce.
What?
Yep, he was gonna be
Pierce. I was thinking you were to go Zoloff.
No,
Toby Jones's character. I'm like, that could I could see that working there. Down in the bunker at the low MODOK floating around, have MODOK blow up.
He was gonna
Alexander
be the
Pierce. No,
yeah, he was gonna be the main villain of Winter
no.
Soldier, and everyone says Winter Soldier is like one of the best MCU movies. So in an alternate timeline,
top three, yeah,
top three, definitely.
Alternate timeline, we would have had imagine. Oh God, imagine our first introduction to the MCU was Iron Man fighting a giant head, and this was 3 years before Green Lantern came out, before they did their own big head.
I have no words. Thank God they did it now.
Yeah. We wouldn't be here talking about it if they did that. So.
Oh my God! At least they got their MODOK out of the way.
Then I don't know if you remember when they were gonna do that show, the New Warriors, they would have had a version of it played by Keith. They would have had a character, Ernest Vigman, who would eventually become MODOK, played by Keith David.
Oh.
So there's plans to bring him in all the way since 2008, and they finally did it in 2023. So 15 years later.
Mag, what do you think of MODOK and Bill Murray?
Okay, so MODOK, I think he is very he is a cult classic character at this point, and I feel like there are stories with him in the comics which are very entertaining and everything. And say what you will about the Hulu show, I thought it was entertaining because I think Patton Oswalt did a funny job with his voice. I was just hearing him, but I don't know. It was weird because I was just I don't remember the first Ant-Man movie a lot. All I remember is Michael Pena's character and how much I loved him in that movie.
He's so good. I'm sad he didn't appear.
I know.
No, none of them did. Well, I know yeah.
No, David did. Polka Dot Man did.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
He was Veb.
He was him. He was so cute. I loved him and his holes.
Wait. He played him. That was who he played.
He did the voice. Yeah.
I didn't know that. That's actually kind of funny.
I tapped my fiance. I was like, that's Polka Dot
Man. But it was so weird. He's like, oh, I'm like, oh, it's Darren. I'm like, oh, okay, I was, oh, isn't that the guy? But they didn't really explain how he became that. It was your head. So did his head only survive in the quantum realm, and they just reprogrammed into your body?
I think he just survived totally, and then Kang made him the villain that he was, that he becomes, because he drenches his whole body into this goop. That's why we see his butt.
His baby booty. I'm like, what's this Deadpool 2? And then Bill Murray, you're gonna waste the appearance by the Mercer. You called his voicemail. He actually picked up the phone.
Don't you mean Garfield?
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's true. But I was telling before you came in, Darren, I said I feel like if they did it better, he could have been the Jeff Goldblum in this one. He just runs the quantum verse, and then he would have been the Jeff Goldblum of that. That would have been cool.
Yeah.
I also kind of compared his performance to Mac and I were talking before you came on. The part where in Thor Love and Thunder, where Russell Crowe was in that part.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I wasn't a fan of that part. I was probably one of the only fans of. Oh, you didn't like it either?
I liked the movie overall. I thought Russell Crowe was a weaker part of that film.
That's what I agreed.
Zeus, it's all set up, but it could have been handled a little better.
And that's what I felt about the Bill Murray character aspect, Yeah. But anyways, those were two of the negatives I had about it, but I had fun with it. Honestly, I enjoyed it.
So much fun, yeah.
I know some people like Mac, they talked about them not liking the visuals as much. I thought they were fine.
I thought they were good too. I saw them at my local IMAX, and they just got a brand new laser projector, so it looked phenomenal. It looked better than Avatar in that sense. So I thought it was pretty good. Yeah, obviously not the effects themselves, but it was just the quality. The screen looked phenomenal. I'm like, can we bring Avatar back? I want to see that now on laser. But yeah, I thought the visuals were good. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Mac.
Oh no, I can wait. It's dumb. It was about Avatar.
My one, I wouldn't even call it a negative because it was a challenge the film faced, was I thought they could have done more setup for the story with Kang. But this was the first, and this is going to be a bit of an issue going forward. Yes, we had Doctor Strange last year where they had to do evil Wanda and explain how she got to that point. but that had an easy enough explanation. So if you hadn't seen WandaVision, you could jump on board pretty quickly. Ant-Man and the Wasp, they had to somehow recap that entire final episode of Loki into this movie.
Yeah.
So they really had to kind of bridge the gap for everyone not watching the Disney Plus shows to introduce them to Kang, this variant, what he's all about, why he's important, that I found that it was so much spent on recapping it that there wasn't much added.
Yeah, I can agree.
I would have liked to see more. Like, obviously, we knew the post-credit scenes were going to involve Kang somehow because we know the trajectory. So, like, I knew there's be something there, but I would like to have seen more with this variation.
Yeah.
Now, my question is he actually dead? Could he pop up again? Because we see him get sucked in. We don't know where he went.
I just alluded that he was dead, but now that you bring up a good point, he was just sucked in.
I don't think he's dead.
He may not be dead.
Yeah, just because the line they kept repeating was, "You have to let me out to stop more of me." I think we're gonna see this version come back by Kang Dynasty.
Really? That's your prediction?
I think so. We'll see. It's too early to tell, but like just knowing what was teased in the 2 credit scenes and how the Kangs are coming as an onslaught now, they're gonna need some sort of support. And whether the quantum realm time travel something could get this one to, I don't know. It's obviously a ways ahead. We're nowhere near enough information to start theorizing about what's going to happen. But I feel like there's a potential
for him to come back. Interesting. Yeah, but I could see that happening. You bring up a really great point that I didn't even think of. So, like I said, I just presumed he was dead. And my fiance and I were talking about it, and we both believed that variant was dead and just disappeared. Now you bring up a good point. I can talk to him about.
But yeah.
But now I was thinking about it too. I feel like now I should have really also rewatched Loki season 1 before going into the film, because my fiance didn't even get to watch Loki season 1, so he was kind of thrown for a loop. So I was kind of like telling him what was going on a little bit at the end, but I didn't want to explain too much because he's like, I really want to watch Loki, and I was like, all right, I had to be the good fiance and not spoil it. And I'm excited though to see what's going to come out and make the next season 2 of Loki, like we mentioned earlier. But anything else you want to add on before we have to score?
I gave up on Loki after that damn Miss Minutes jump scare got me at like 2 a.m. I was like, what the? Like, oh shit. I was like, but
Miss Minutes.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't talk about my negatives I have, which are a lot.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
So my negatives. Obviously I will say the visuals were a little clunky. I think I did like some of the designs for the creatures in the quantum realm. I thought that was pretty cool. Like the one he's like, you have holes. I thought that was he's a treasure. I
have holes.
I want him to come back.
Yep.
The guy with
it's gonna be a fan favorite for sure.
The guy with the light, that beam, he was pretty cool. I like how the buildings were actually like ships too. That was pretty cool. And then I like the design of Kang because they actually made him very comic accurate, and I'll give him credit for that. It's just like everything else just doesn't look like, I don't know, like the part when they were looking at the probabilities, that looked kind of cool, but then I was like, it's kind of being a little too much. Except for the Baskin Robbins, the Jack one that made me laugh. That was great. A good joke. That was a funny joke. I will say, like, that got a chuckle from me. But yeah, the visuals weren't impressive for me, and then the writing, man. This has been a problem I've had with Marvel since probably since like Endgame ended, because I think maybe it started with maybe Black Widow, but no, because I actually kind of like Black Widow. I think maybe it turned like the quips, man. Like, not every character has to be quippy. I'm so sick of these quips. Like, it's a serious situation and like stuff like you can make jokes, but like when every other line is like you're making a quip, it gets so annoying, and I got so sick of it. Especially like the one with MODOK, which I got spoiled with, so I will be spoiling it here. When Cassie was fighting MODOK, and then he's like, "What should I do?" He's like, "I don't know. Don't be a dick." It's like, that's all the dick I can do. Wait, no. That's all the that's like the beginning of dick's all I know. And then he comes back later. He's like, my name is Darren, and I'm not a dick. I was like,
Yeah.
what? I guess. And then I'm just the quips, man. I'm not. They want the thing with Marvel is that they want to make a new Tony Stark, because I think Tony Stark is kind of the funniest character. He's like, he perfected the witty quips, and I think they're looking for that next person to be like, hey, you do that. And like, I mean, I think the only one I can see pulling it off is literally Spider-Man, like Tom Holland, because that's kind of Spider-Man's character, is like quips. But everyone else, I don't know if you can do that. Like, I think with Ant-Man's humor, he's more like just dry, like deadpan, like dry humor, and I think that's kind of funny. But like the quips, I can't see him doing quips.
The quips.
Yeah,
I kind of wanted. I like enjoy saying that with the quips.
Quippy, quips.
All right. Anyways, let's score it. What did you guys give this rating as?
Wait, we didn't talk about the post-credit scenes.
We did. I thought we kind of did.
We didn't go into depth because we're gonna spoil
Into depth. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
Spoiler
so,
time.
So this is gonna be spoilers. Well, we kind of spoiled it when he said he died, maybe. So we're already too late. But yeah, so we're gonna be spoiling the post-credit scenes. You want to skip to the time below, whatever it is. So guys, what did you think about the post-credit scenes? Let's talk about the first one.
Well, we mentioned earlier that all the Kangs are together,
Mhm.
but if somebody wants to go into a little bit more detail.
Darren, I think you're qualified. I kind of
sure. Like basically that scene is the setup for Kang Dynasty there. Like the Kangs are seeing how powerful the Avengers are, because at least in this point, they have defeated one Kang.
Mhm.
Potentially two, depending on where this falls timeline-wise with Loki. I put that caveat because when they were looking out the window, the timeline was still intact. So I don't know if they've destroyed that second Kang variant yet. But there's at least one, potentially two Kang variants dead, one by Ant-Man, one by Loki and Sylvie. So they're seeing what a threat the Avengers are and how they are now with Doctor Strange, traveling the multiverse, that they're a threat that needs to be stopped. So this is the big bad coming. And from what Kevin Feige's been saying, we're going to be seeing a lot of Kang in the next few entries.
They did it. I forgot. Kang did mention, he's like, because he said, Scott's like, I'm an Avenger. And he goes, which one are you? Are you in the Hammer? Because I killed him. I said, oh, wait, what? So it is established that they know the Avengers, right?
They know the Avengers. Is that Kang, which they talk about in Loki, but he had gone and wiped out other universes.
Oh, okay.
So he's fought the Avengers before theirs. That's how I read that.
Okay, so then like they are
another variant of Thor. So they are aware, but I think Loki it was described that the Kangs outcast this Kang to the quantum realm. It was the Kangs that defeated him, never the Avengers.
Mm-hmm.
Now we have an Avenger who's done it once here, and then twice if Loki has already happened at this point. That one's really hard to time because for obvious reasons.
So the Kang, so obviously with Secret Wars and Kang Dynasty, is this setting up for Battle World with like Doctor Doom? Because they did maybe that, because that's like the rumor I'm hearing is like they want to do Battle World, and Kang Dynasty could probably set up for like the Secret Wars they want to do for the part 2.
Yeah, I don't know how they're doing. So I've heard like they're two separate films. I've heard not even all the Avengers will be in Kang Dynasty.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like this is set up for Kang Dynasty, and Kang Dynasties, there's going to be basically two storylines happening. There's be the Kang Dynasty setup and then the Secret Wars setup, depending on what film you're in.
Okay.
And obviously whatever happens in Kang Dynasty is going to light the fuse for Secret Wars at that point.
I feel like
I
have a theory with Kang Dynasty because they've mentioned it twice, and I feel like it's probably going to be an incursion.
I feel like Incursions is definitely Secret Wars.
Yeah.
So that's so massive to that comic run. It's been a while since I read them, so I'm a little rusty on them. But I feel like
oh, go ahead.
Incursions will be part of Kang Dynasty because the Kangs have to come. Incursion, boom, like simple. But I feel like it's going to be a bit more grounded.
It won't be as like massive as it was in like the comics.
I think it's going to be a big event, but I feel like it's going to not be as huge as Secret Wars. Like I envision like Kang Dynasty is more like an Avengers Age of Ultron type Avengers film. That it's going to be, we're building to that, but it's going to be a bit more self-contained versus Secret Wars is going to be all out madness because that's coming a year later. And I'm hearing potentially 2 films for Secret Wars. I don't think that's been confirmed yet, but that would make sense.
And you know me, I'm a Galactus fanboy. Do you think Secret Wars is where they bring in Galactus?
I feel like that's where we see it because I feel like Doctor Doom Galactus more fits Secret Wars than Kang Dynasty. I feel like Kang Dynasty, you're going to have hundreds of Jonathan Majors. Just like, don't overstuff that movie.
He's going to get paid for all those roles. Jesus Christ. So that man's making that money.
Yeah, he'll make good money.
But I
every million for every Kang appearance.
I can't wait for Secret Wars because I think that storyline's good. And if they're really gonna do, because they're starting the casting for the Fantastic Four, and they said they're gonna build it around Sue Storm. And I feel like they're gonna go. I'm hoping maybe Giancarlo is either Doctor Doom or maybe Professor X, Charles Xavier. Although there is a rumor that Patrick Stewart said be ready for Deadpool 3.
Bring him back.
Yeah. But did you guys hear a rumor that apparently they wanted either Henry Cavill or Adam Driver to be Doctor Doom?
Interesting.
I don't know how that would work. I'd probably want to see, like, I think since Henry Cavill's done with DC, you can bring him into Marvel. There's like, what is he, Captain Britain, or like there's a character.
That's what Captain Britain.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to digress into DC. They did Henry Cavill dirty. I love him. Cast him in something Marvel. I don't want him as a villain. I want him, or if he's going to be a villain,
good hero
he needs to be a good arc. He needs to be like multiple appearances. He's not a one and done.
He could be the Thing.
No,
I don't want to see him as the Thing.
No.
I do not. Henry Cavill.
would.
If Henry Cavill's going to join Marvel, it needs to be something like major, because I think he has he's very bitter about what happened with DC. And you can tell from the way they brought him back with Black Adam, and it was only used in a way to get fans, excited, that there was going to be this fight, and then knowing it was just only for a marketing thing. It was
and
just
he gave up The Witcher to do it. Like,
it was like, because The Witcher was his baby. Because he treated that project with so much heart, and knowing that like he was going to give it up to work on Superman again, and knowing James Gunn was like, nope, all right, we're going to scrap you.
Bye.
But I didn't fire you, no.
I didn't fire you, but we're going to say no more.
Yeah.
So I feel like he's got to find something that's going to come.
He needs a big role. Like, it's not being talked about, but I could see him as Mr. Fantastic. Like, he's a bit of a gamer. Like, he builds his computers. He could get into that scientist role. I think he could do that. He's
into the games. I think he needs to play like some kind of nerdy character, something similar to what we saw Chris Evans as for Captain America, I think.
My dream role for him though is don't cast him in Marvel, cast him as James Bond and just call it a day. But that's a whole nother debate.
Love that.
I think everyone knows who they want as Mr. Fantastic. Is John Krasinski, and if that doesn't happen, people will literally burn that casting to the ground. And
it's not going to be John Krasinski. I can tell you that much. Based on the announcement that they're casting it around Sue Storm, that means they didn't get John and Emily. So it's not them.
And I know Kevin Feige said he only put him in Multiverse of Madness, just kind of like shut everyone up. Like
He'll pop up in Secret Wars, maybe. I don't know. For
they made everybody happy for
That's it, because it was cool
for 2 seconds.
And then
it was great.
Silly string is like damn. But well, I know we're off topic, but I like Fantastic Four. Who would you guys want as like the main four, and then the villain? Who would you want to be Doom? Because I feel like with the Fantastic Four movies, say what you will about the 2000 ones, I feel like they had the best ensemble cast. You actually felt like a family. And then I think you need to hit that same chemistry with the newer one.
You need to hit the chemistry. I don't want to say that there was a weak person in the 2000s cast, but there definitely was.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, Jessica Alba, you're right.
I was like, where's this going?
No, it just wasn't right. I feel like this one going forward, I would love to see Samara Weaving as Sue Storm. She would be really good, I think. I really like her, so I might be biased, but someone like her, You know, someone who's kind of big enough, but not like had that massive moment yet. I think
That's
she would be
actually
good.
a really good choice. I think for Mr. Fantastic, I was thinking, I don't have the exact Sue Storm yet. I don't know in my mind, but I really like that Samara Weaving. I'm thinking either Zac Efron or Penn Badgley
For
Mr. Fantastic.
Fantastic. I've not seen you, so I don't know Penn Badgley that well. I don't see Zac Efron as Mr. Fantastic.
No.
I love him. I see him more as a Human Torch character. I see him a bit
Okay.
more in that role, but I have a different pick for Human Torch. I want Glenn Powell. I just want Glenn Powell on everything.
That's actually a really good choice.
Glenn Powell, Samara Weaving, Henry Cavill, and who do we do for the thing? Like, let's just fan cast this now and be done. No.
Yeah, honestly.
Kevin and Feige, listen.
Get Michael Chiklis back.
No.
Yes, Michael Chiklis was good. Stanley actually said before the MCU, Michael Chiklis was his favorite portrayal for a comic book character at that time.
He was good. The thing is hard because like it's a CGI character. Like it's really, you could kind of cast anyone in there.
Yeah.
So you can kind of go any which way as long as you get a good character actor. So that one's always been harder in my mind. Like, who should it be? Because it's not like who could be that embodiment. Because it's very much.
It's very.
How about Alan Tudyk?
No, he's a little. I like him, but I don't think he could be the seriousness that you need for the thing.
No.
Because the thing is quite a deep and emotional character while having his quips, but.
Idris Elba.
No.
Yeah.
I think they're looking.
Ryan Gosling.
No. Ryan Gosling won't touch any more superhero projects.
And if you cast Ryan Gosling, you don't put him in a CGI character. You put him. You put him as Mr. Fantastic.
You would have put him. Yeah, exactly.
He did a superhero movie before.
I don't think he's done one.
Double
checking that. I'm like,
he wore a superhero. No. I don't see him in doing a superhero movie though.
He said he might want to do Ghost Rider though.
I could see him doing one.
Ghost
It'd
Rider,
have to be
but
the
no
right character.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
He can't be like a CGI character and his character needs to be like have like an emotional depth to him, like something like I don't know, something on the lines that is comedy relief.
David
like
Harbour
he would do like in Suicides, not something like he would do like in Deadpool.
Mm-hmm.
Like if James Gunn were to come to him, even though like he would have been great, I think as a Guardians of the Galaxy character, but
yes,
I don't see him joining as the Fantastic series as the Thing. You need somebody who's young enough who can bring.
That's the thing. You need the age because they're locking you in for probably a decade. Like you're going to be leading the Marvel franchise.
Well, how about this? We bring it full circle. We bring Miles Teller back. We put him as the Thing.
No.
It'll be his redemption arc because I feel like that movie was just Listen, I'm trying to make this work. I have no idea.
That movie was done
You're not
dirty.
Me here, man.
Yeah, no.
Sorry, but
that movie is a wonderful trailer for a movie that never happened.
Yeah.
Hey, Josh Trank said a year ago he had a fantastic version of the film that we never got to see. I like Josh Trank. I feel bad for him. I like Capone. But the Thing is hard. I really can't see who they can bring in. It would probably have to be someone new.
They'll
cast a name, but I don't think it'll be someone new. I think if you're going someone new, you're picking a solo project to build around, not a team.
I'm thinking the guy who is the character in Reacher, Alan Richardson.
Richardson. He would be good. Like you need someone like him. He's got some emotional vulnerability to him,
and he's got the bulkiness to him, and
the gruffness to the voice. He would be.
I just thought of that right now.
Perfect.
Wait, who's going to be Dr. Doom?
Dr. Doom. We can't have.
You need someone. Again, you need someone like a Jonathan Majors. You need someone who's got some gravitas there because he's a big, important villain.
All I can see is just Giancarlo Esposito being Dr. Doom.
He would be good. My only thing there is an age thing.
Yeah, again, it's the age.
Is if you're going because the Fantastic Four, if you're going a younger cast, you need someone a little bit younger. Just because of his connections to the characters, I think you need to be a little younger.
What if it's somebody? He's getting up there. He's in his mid 40s, but Outlander, but he probably wouldn't do it because he's on The Boys.
Oh, Homelander.
Homelander.
I don't think I see him as Doctor Doom.
I've been hearing him online, like complete fan casting, but for Blade, for Dracula, which I think would be.
Oh, that would also be a good one.
I feel like he's a bit more of a fun, sinister. I'm trying to think who.
I don't want to cast him though, because he's so good as the villain. In
Doctor Doom is more like serious, and like when Secret Wars happen, like shit will go down. Like you need someone to like command that screen time. And
this is like someone you want to be like, here's Oscar winner as Doctor Doom. Like,
yeah.
No, I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't.
We've casted Jake Gyllenhaal. Oh, what about this one? I'm just looking through my letterbox, seeing who was in stuff last year and going, oh, there's an idea. What about Nicholas Hoult? He could be an interesting choice.
But what if he returns as the Beast?
Oh,
that's
Beast, right?
Thing.
Beast, yeah, Beast. Okay.
I would like to see him, but
I've got another one. But yeah, Nicholas Hoult. Yeah.
I was gonna say Barry Kogan, but he was
Eternals.
In Internals. Like he would have been great as a Doctor
MCU.
Doom. Yeah, so he's in a. Oh God.
What about Eddie Redmayne?
I can be down for that.
Interesting. That would be. I
just tossed the Good Nurse on my listing. I'm like, ooh, that would be. He can play a good villain. We saw that last year. Like,
yeah,
he could be.
That would be really interesting.
Yeah.
That would be really interesting.
Yeah.
That would be good.
All right, so
would be really good.
I just realized we were supposed to rank Ant-Man and the Wasp 3, but we
got dope.
Yeah.
We'll do that now. We did our
so,
fan casting for Fantastic Four.
Yeah.
All right, so what's everyone's ratings for Ant-Man and the Wasp 3?
Darren, you're our guest, so you go first.
So it's currently my number one of the year. There's not been much. I have it at a 9 out of 10. I absolutely loved it. So haters come at me.
Yeah, no, I'm not coming after you for anything. For me, I really enjoyed it. But I'm gonna give it a 7 out of 10. It is not my number one, but it's probably in the top 10 at the moment. But we'll see what happens.
You saw a lot more at Sundance, so I could see that. Yeah, I had two, so
Sundance was a little hard this year. I think I saw some hit and misses.
Yeah,
nothing that like stuck out in my mind, like Starling Girl or like Cat Person. But Cat Person was so mixed.
Yeah,
and then like A Little Prayer, but and everything else, I feel like at Sundance I saw this year was subpar, but that was my choosing of what I saw this year.
4 out of 10.
4 out of 10. I feel like it's so low for you.
Yeah.
Ugh. All right. But guys, that was our review of a lot of things, and that involved the Ant-Man and the Wasp and the Quantumania. Let us know your thoughts. Did you like the movie? Did you hate it? I don't know. Let us know the thoughts. And we're going to move on now to talking about what we are watching right now. So let's move on into that.
Okay, Kristen. So, we're going to talk about what we've been watching lately. So, what's everyone been watching lately on TV?
All right, Darren, where do you want to go first since you're our guest?
Sure. I won't spend much time on it because everyone's talking about it. And if you're not watching The Last of Us, you are missing out on the best show currently on television. It's phenomenal. Each week just keeps topping it, and I'm not ready for what's coming next because, oh my gosh.
Did you play the games?
I'm halfway through the first game, so we've now passed where I was at. I was at the part where they were going with the two brothers like through the sewers trying to get out of the city.
Okay.
So they just passed me. I need to finish the game.
Okay.
I'm like the world's worst gamer. I've been playing it for like 2 years. So
that's okay. I love the series and I loved the game, but I'm crying just about every single week.
Oh yeah.
Like everybody else. So far, episode 3 is the best piece of television I've ever seen.
Yeah, it's up there.
And then I'm also watching Poker Face, which is the Natasha Lyonne series, which is phenomenal, which I think is one of the best pieces of television that Peacock has released besides A Friend of the Family, which I've really enjoyed. But this one is also like high up there for Peacock. Okay. I love the mysteries every week, and it's a new take for the mystery genre for like this Agatha Christie thing. It's very unique, and Natasha Lyonne is definitely like giving her best performance like ever in a series. Okay. And then I'm hate watching How I Met Your Father.
Yeah,
it's not good. It's not good at all. And I'm annoyed I'm watching it every week. It's nothing like the classic How I Met Your Mother. I don't like the characters as much, but you know, I'm watching it for the funs, and I just have to cringe every week of what's happening on the series.
Fair enough. If we're talking about what we're hate watching, I'm finally finishing the Book of Boba Fett. It's been an ongoing project of mine for about a year and 2 months now. I cannot get it. I watched the premiere. I'm like, this is so boring. I tried the second episode. I'm like, I can't. And now since The Mandalorian's coming out next week, I'm like, hey, time to finish it up. So they all show up at the end of the series. So
Book of Boba Fett.
But like, it's pretty bad.
Yeah, it's a disappointment.
Yeah, I'm doing that. I love the Netflix reality show, so I'm like catching up on The Circle right now. It's a guilty pleasure. And then I just finished this season 2 of The White Lotus, which was really good.
Ooh.
Okay, Mac, what are you watching?
I'm only hate watching one thing and one thing only. That's Velma. It's
been, no
disaster.
So, that season just wrapped, and now we're getting a season 2. I'm surprised.
And it's people like that who are hate watching like me who gave it a season 2, and I don't like it.
Yeah. Oh, and do you want to know something really old school when I'm watching?
What?
Darren, you might know the series. Mac, I don't know if you do. But and between 2003 to 2007, there was a series that aired on the Fox network called The OC.
Oh my gosh. Oh wow.
And this was on my watch list for such a long time. I put it off for so long, and I was like, I'm gonna watch the series. And then I said to myself, back at the beginning of the month, I'm almost 30. I can watch this show now, you know, because my parents didn't want me to watch it because of the stuff that goes on in the series. And I was like, you know what? Let me watch it. And it's so good. I love this series. Like, it's a good thing I did not watch this show at a younger age because of the content, but then I would have fallen for Adam Brody and Ben McKenzie like at a young age. I think are my new celebrity crushes at the moment, but it is the most nostalgic piece of 2000s entertainment. I love it, and I'm crying just as much as The Last of Us. So I don't want to spoil a series that's almost 20 years old. I've gotten to the part where Misha Barton has died, and I cried my eyes out.
I remember when that episode aired, and like all the girls the next day at school just crying. I'm like, what happened? Like, this person died in the OC. I'm like, that checks
like,
out.
I don't know if any of y'all have watched it, Darren. I don't know if you watched it, Mac. I don't know if you are aware of the series.
I'm not dumb.
I've only seen the episode where she dies because everyone was talking about it, so I had to watch it, and that's all I've seen.
The first episode is so good, and the Writers Guild even acknowledged the first episode like ever, which is amazing, which I learned about And Mick G is a producer of the series, which I did not know.
Oh my gosh, this
When
man's
I watched the
everywhere.
beginning of the first episode, and then I looked on and it said that Mick G was a executive producer of this series, and I was like,
Yeah.
holy guacamole, Mick G. Oh boy. But yeah, that's what I'm watching also.
I love it.
I love I like, it's probably like one of my new favorite shows, like of all time. But yeah, that's what I'm also watching. But to end on that note, guys, thank you, Darren.
Thank you so much for having me. I was wanting to come back. We tried a few times and it just didn't work. And this was the perfect time to do it.
Yes, it was the perfect time.
Return. Yes.
We should also ask you this. Would you be in interest of joining us for a special Star Wars episode?
Ooh, potentially. It depends on what we're talking. I'm good with like the movies and the live action stuff.
That's what we're doing.
That's what we're doing.
Okay, perfect. I'm like, I've not.
We're gonna have a huge panel, and I think at this point, I'm gonna play referee.
Referee.
That's what I'm doing.
Keep me updated on that. I'm definitely interested.
Okay, wonderful. Guys, this has been our episode. Once again, Darren, thank you again for coming on. Mac, any closing thoughts before we say goodbye?
I know. This has been a fun episode. I've had so much fun.
Sounds like it with that attitude.
I'm not half asleep. I'm not half asleep right now, I swear.
Okay. Alrighty, guys. We will see you all next time in the next episode with our Oscar special. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Fuck you in the lanes you came with. Me and you ain't on the same shit. You ain't in my lane, bitch. Nah, all that shit in fifth. Rollie on my wrist. Ay, baby, you a star. I'm my only wish. I'm counting blue honeys. I'm too money. Ay, and my little bitch, she too lovely. Yeah, hanging up and calling me right back. Ay, baby, why you calling me like that? Yeah, getting high with the seat laid back. Baby, gon' relax, yeah. Hey, they don't know the half, yeah. No matter what happened, I got your back. Baby, that's the facts, yeah. That's the facts, yeah.